Brought to you by America's Christian Credit Union.
James, what else is happening in the world?
All right, the first video that we have is a woman finally realizing that men say what they mean.
Crazy, but I think that men actually mean what they say. Like, no hidden message, no secret meaning, no emotional code to crack, just yes, no, up, down. But 9 times out of 10, I interpret it way differently. He says I'm tired. What I hear is tired of me, of this relationship, of life. Maybe I'm too much. Is he gonna leave? Like, should I back off? But the reality is, he just yawned. He says, oh, I didn't notice. He doesn't pay attention, doesn't care. He didn't notice the thing I changed. Clearly, he doesn't value me. He really actually didn't even notice. His brain didn't register it. He says, I'm not hungry. He doesn't like my cooking. He's mad. He ate somewhere else. He must be hiding something. Why isn't he hungry? What did I do? Actually, it's because he had 2 burritos from the gas station at 4 p.m. They say it's blue. We're like, but what does that mean? Is it sad? Is it deep? Is it about me? No, it's just blue.
Oh my goodness, this is all so good, James. Where do you find these things? Do you think that girls think that's funny? I mean, would mom think that's funny and acknowledge that? Yeah. There's some maybe guys actually he just means what he said.
I think it's what we were talking about the other day, how men think in boxes and girls think in a big ball of yarn, and it's all connected.
Everything's
connected. The reason that I say, no, I think I'll pass on eating dessert tonight. Do you not like my cooking? Do you not like my baking? It's like, no, I ate 10 Twinkies before I had dinner.
Right. And I'm tired. I'm actually just tired. I'm not bored. I'm not trying to get out of this situation. I got up at 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. I'm not tired of you and tired of this relationship.
You know, it's a simple way to live, but that's why God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. You know, men and women together form this beautiful, complementary, one flesh relationship. And that's what makes relationships so beautiful.
All right, the next video that we have is a video of you that I found when you were a kid saying no to drugs.
Oh, boy. I remember this.
Hi. You know, a lot of people tell you that drugs are cool. And they're the same people who are saying that everybody's doing something, so what's your problem? Well, they're wrong. Everybody's not doing drugs, and you don't have to try them to be cool. Look, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your lives, but I am telling you that you don't have to do something you don't want to just to keep your friends happy. I mean, if that's the way that they feel, then maybe they're not your friends. And maybe they're not as cool as you thought they were. And one last thing. I'm not being paid to say this. This is how I feel. And if you think that makes me uncool, then you're wrong.
Boom!
Fire.
Mic
Drop
drop.
the mic. Walk out of the room.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Oh my goodness, James, is that so cringy? Does that just make you feel so embarrassing?
It's hilarious, and I think it's even
hilarious?
funnier to look at you with a mullet and 17 years old.
Yeah, I know. You know who that kind of looks like, don't you? You're looking at your future, brother.
Okay.
You know what's so interesting to me is that was during the Just Say No movement back in the 1980s. Under, I think Nancy Reagan launched that, President Ronald Reagan's wife. And I'm just looking at all the people in the background, and I recognize a lot of those people. Those were actors that were on the show and friends of mine that I've lost touch with. But that was super cool.
All right. Enough of that. The next video that we have is a guy named Sam Seder, who went on Jubilee, and he is debating 20 Trump supporters and is talking about the foundation of America and Christian values.
Okay.
Take a look.
I think there are things from religion that are good.
Yeah.
I interviewed Desmond Tutu years ago, who said that, religion can be, is like a knife. It can be used to spread butter, or it could be used to stab people.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that I want religious doctrine to be the same as the law of the land. We have a democracy,
Sure.
and it was founded on trying to get out from some type of like religious oppression, which means one religion shouldn't dominate in this country.
That's a misconception that many people have. Because you hear things all the time like, well, our founding fathers, or maybe even the Pilgrims, we go back a little further, they were trying to get God out of government. Their freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. No, it was freedom of a government-controlled church. That's what they were fleeing from when they came over here. I know I made a whole movie about it called Monumental. But what's actually interesting is that this guy is arguing to get away from religious doctrine being imposed on the people. But what he is either hiding or failing to recognize is that he is imposing the religious doctrine of secular humanism upon the young man who's sitting across the table from him, and wants to impose that viewpoint on everybody else in the country. He wants to pretend like it's possible to just have a country where there is no religion. That's actually impossible. And the religion that he is a proponent of, presumably, based on what he's saying, is the religion of humanism, where we're not going to be about Christianity or about any other religion. We're just going to make our laws and determine our morality, and we're going to educate our children in the principles that have been determined by us, by reason, by enlightened human beings, the really smart guys, or the ones with the most money and the most power. That's called humanism, and it is just as much of a religious position as Christianity is for the man sitting across the table from him. James, what do you think?
I think you're right. I think that the Pilgrims didn't leave Great Britain and come to America to escape having to be religious. They came to express the freedom of their own true religion in the U.S. And the only reason that Sam Seder is able to say what he's saying and live in the country that he's living in is because of the biblical foundation in which we believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which he's living, but he doesn't want to attribute that to God.
Agreed.
All right.
Got another video?
The next video I stumbled across, and it is a video of a father that forgives the killer of his daughter in the courtroom. Take a look.
Comes to all of the women you took was gone. Our memory is not. In your words, you said that they didn't mean anything to you, but she meant everything to us.
She was a mother, she was a wife, she was a sister, and we miss her.
Gary Ridgway sat there stone-faced as victims' relatives damned him and mocked him.
He's an animal. I wish for him to have a long, suffering, cruel death.
He's gonna go to hell, and that's where he belongs.
But then the emotionless facade finally cracked when the father of one of his victims appeared to surprise him.
Mr. Ridgway, there are people here that hate you. I'm not one of them. You've made it difficult to live up to what I believe, and that is what God says to do, and that's to forgive. You are forgiven, sir.
Wow. That was impactful for me to see the reaction of the murderer when he heard the words that he was forgiven.
Yeah, a line that stuck out to me is, "You made it hard for me to live up to what I believe. But I still forgive you, because it's what God says to do."
Grace is perhaps the most powerful force in the whole world. Forgiveness is life-changing. Justice is right. Justice is good. But with God, love swallows up justice. And that makes me actually think back about the first story that we talked about in today's episode. Is there room for forgiveness for someone like that? I think there is. But people like that make it very difficult to have hearts full of compassion when they damage, injure, and destroy other people's lives. Justice is necessary. Laws are good. Consequences have to hold. But in the end, what changes the human heart is grace, where love swallows up justice. And that's what happened at the cross.
All right, the next video we have is a meme about a guy that swears he's prophetic, but in reality, he just took too much Benadryl.
No way, Micah? What is up, dude? Yo, this is such a God thing. I had no idea I'd run into you at our local faith-based coffee shop that I see you at every Tuesday morning. This is so crazy. Look at God, bro. Look at God. Okay, so you know how you've been complaining about your job, you've got a decision to make, and you know how I'm prophetic, right? Yeah, I've got the gift of prophecy. Bro, last night the Lord gave me a dream about your situation so I could tell you what to do, bro. It's so crazy, yeah. So I had a dream, right? You're at your cubicle at work and your boss walks up to you and he turns into spiders. Yes, bro, like that's so obviously a sign from the Lord telling you to quit your job, bro. Like God is calling you to quit your job, bro. And in the same dream, hear me out, same dream, you like go home and your wife, she greets you and then she turns into spiders. Bro, if you have not been thinking about this already, you need to divorce your wife. Like the Lord is calling you to divorce your wife. And your two sons, Jack and John, they like run up to you and then guess what? Bro, they turned into spiders. Bro, if you haven't thought about getting rid of your kids, like the Lord is calling you to rid yourself of your entire family, quit your job, everybody's spiders, bro. This is such a dream from the Lord, bro. This is so sick, man. I just had to come tell you that, bro. The Lord put that on my heart.
The Christianese is so cringy. We need to have a whole conversation about this in the future, James. Do you know that I had somebody come up to me in an airport one time, and I was there with Ray Comfort and with my friend Easy, who also is Ray's son-in-law. And someone came up to me and they looked me in the eyes and they just said, I just want you to know that the Lord Jesus loves you and he's given me a word for you. And handed me a folded up piece of paper.
So intense.
It was very intense, like right in my face. and I opened it up and I read it and it simply said 3 words, patches no more. I didn't know what was going on. What does that even mean? And then, of course, you're left to wonder what this means. And so I'm waiting for somebody to interpret this cryptic note. And I still don't know what it means.
The next video that we have is a rabbi saying that all Christians should be worshiping every single Jew, not just Jesus.
I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
Oh, wow. That is a complete butchering and twisting of the biblical redemptive narrative and a misunderstanding of who Jesus is and how sins are forgiven. Jewish people, or any people for that matter, cannot die to wash away the sins of Christians. Only Jesus Christ can do that. And in fact, Jesus Christ died so that Jewish people's sins could be washed away. The people who are now called the family of God are made up of Jews and Gentiles from every tribe, every nation, every tongue, every language, every continent, every people group who put their faith in Jesus Christ. So that's just awful and terrible that he's saying that. So we should pray that this man comes to an understanding of the truth, turns from his sins, and puts his faith in the Son of God who took on Jewish flesh and died on the cross for his sins. Man, this is really cool. I love all of these videos that you find, James. It brings up so many interesting things, and I hope that you find these videos and these conversations interesting so that you can talk about it with your kids, you can talk about it with your friends in your small groups or at the coffee shop or at work or whatever.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when the next episode comes out. And leave us a comment in the comment section below so that we can read that on a future episode. Have a good day.